Info.
Let's talk.
9 minutes gone past the 3 o'clock hour, officially welcoming you to the program that makes you think outside the box, makes you tinker upon some of the biggest stories from across our news bulletins online, and of course those stories that are on the pages of our newspapers, and helps you to make sense of it all. Welcome to Hard Facts. 99.3 Nigeria Info is the frequency, and we're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. My name is Maryann Okon. Welcome to your most authentic news experience. It's a brand new week, and as usual on Mondays we start off with the big weekend stories breaking all through the weekend into the brand new weekend. Oh, shall I tell you what's been happening all through the weekend? Or were you privy of all the information? I'm sure that you were listening to the Morning Crossfire, and of course listening to Joyce on the sunny side. And now, well, it promises to be a very interesting conversation today from now till 6 p.m. On the 4 o'clock hour, of course, as usual, we check in with Lagosians to see how things are going with you. And then on the 5 o'clock hour, Akintunde Sawyer, who is the Nel Fund boss, is going to be joining us. Yes, the Nigeria, what's it called now? Student Loan Fund is actually live. It went live on Thursday. He's going to tell us, if you are young and you're about to go into university, the processes involved and how you can benefit from that student loan fund. Remember that the last time that we had him here, you had so many questions badgering him up and down and saying, are you sure this is not a way to siphon? Well. Akintunde is back on the show later today on the 5 o'clock hour. You don't want to miss it. But now, let's get into the business for today. Welcome to the big weekend.
Get ready for the most important news of the day. It's time for the Big Three Stories on Hard Facts. Tune in to our primetime show for the latest updates and in-depth analysis on the top stories making headlines. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, we bring you the facts you need to know. Join us as we delve into the biggest stories shaping our world today. Tune in to the Big Three every weekday, 3 to 4 p.m. and stay informed with the news that matters the most. Hard Facts, where the truth always comes first.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yes, we're back from the weekend and looking at the big stories for today. Let's start with the most obvious, Dangote. I listened to Joyce, a lot of the conversation that she had today. I loved how she broke down everything, and of course, but the story is a developing one, and he started all through last week. You know, I kept asking, what exactly is going on between the NNPCL and Dangote? And today I'm back with that same question. What exactly is at the core of this particular imbroglio? Because on the one hand, the NNPC is saying we have not necessarily licensed. Okay, sir. Why were you at the inauguration? Accolades upon accolades, and you put 20% into a business that you did not necessarily license? Are we paying attention to the right, people here in this conversation, or are we just a little bit salty about Dangote? Are we missing something in this conversation? Because many are saying, oh, these are two big elephants fighting. The big boys are fighting, and then they're washing their dirty linen in public. But could we be missing the point here? Because it's very important that we do not miss the point. The point. Well, let me give you some background. The Daily Trust newspaper put out an exclusive on Aliko Dangote, and in fact he in that story is saying that, look, the NNPCL can buy him out. Apparently he was speaking out of frustration. Dangote on Sunday indicated his willingness to give up ownership of the multi-billion-dollar Dangote refinery to the NNPCL. In fact, many Nigerians have at the weekend expressed concern over the new dimension of the brawl between the Dangote group and the regulatory authorities and the oil and gas industry the position that they have taken over the operations of Dangote's refinery. In fact, Aliko Dangote had alleged that the local and foreign interests, which he likened to a mafia, made repeated attempts to thwart his refinery's completion. A few days afterwards, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NNPCL, alleged that the Dangote refinery was producing inferior products compared to the imported ones. In fact, they said he was, I think it was 45%, as opposed to giving up to 80% or even 90%. In fact, Farouk Ahmed, who is the chief executive officer of the NMDPRA, alleged the quality of diesel produced by the refinery was 665 ppm, which he considered inferior, warning, therefore, that Nigeria may not rely heavily on the Dangote refinery for its supply. But sorry, this is just me asking questions. It's my duty as a journalist to pick the holes. You told us that when this comes upstream, this will help us, in fact, reduce all our problems. Then all of a sudden, midway, you're telling us first that this guy is not licensed enough, that you're yet to license him properly. You're telling us that he's producing below par, and that we might not be able to rely on him for our petroleum products. Where does that leave us? Remember the question I asked when we started this conversation. Are we paying attention to the right things here? In case you're just joining us, the program is Hard Facts. This is The Big Weekend, 99.3. If you're listening to us from outside of the country, you can join the conversation via Skype. We're Nigeria Info FM. We're live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. My name is Maryann Okon. We're looking at Dangote here. But let's take a listen to some things that he had to say, because he's been called a monopolist. He's been called, I heard people call on Joyce's show. There was a gentleman who called in and said, he go hear him, everybody will go collect, something like that. But might we be too emotional to see what's at play here? I don't know. But I'll leave it to you. Let's take a listen to what Dangote had to say over the weekend. Take a listen.
Like you rightly asked, there are a lot of concerns about supply of petroleum products nationwide, and the claims by some media houses that we're trying to scuttle Dangote refinery. That is not so. Dangote refinery is still in the pre-commissioning stage. It has not been licensed yet. We haven't licensed them yet. They are still in pre-commissioning. I think they're about 45% completion rather. So we cannot rely heavily on one refinery to feed the nation, because the Dangote is requesting that we should suspend or stop all importation of petroleum products, especially AGO and jet kero, and direct all marketers to the refinery.
Apologies, this is not Dangote. This is the NMDPRA boss, Farouk Ahmed, speaking about Dangote. But I want to play you what Dangote himself said.
Like you rightly asked, there are a lot of...
I think that mistakenly we put the wrong audio on, but I'm going to try to play one from my phone so you take a listen to what Dangote had to say about his product. He's talked about the monopoly itself. I want to play it quickly so that you can have an idea of what he's saying, side by side with what Farouk Ahmed is saying also on this particular issue. Well, this is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. While I try to get you that audio, now in an exclusive interview that Dangote granted to the Premium Times newspaper over the weekend, he said, let them, that's the NNPCL, buy me out and run the refinery the best way they can. They've labeled me a monopolist. That's an incorrect and an unfair allegation, but it's okay. If they buy me out, at least their so-called monopolized or monopolist will be out of the way. But too many things to read from this particular statement. It means, if you guys have been able to run this thing, why didn't you run it in the first place? Well, since you think I'm the bad guy, I'm going to step out of the way, buy me out, and let's see if you can run it. You could mean that. It could also mean, well, let's see if you're all not actually the monopolist in this case. You're calling me the monopolist. Take it over. Let's see who's been the monopolist the whole time. Or it could also be a trap. I mean, there are too many things to read from this particular statement of his. But I'm going to play you now his audio. Apologies for the delay. Here's Dangote speaking on this issue of being a monopolist, addressing it in front of the media.
Whatever we do, we add value. We are not an assembly plant. When I say assembly, we are not packaging plant. If you look at all our operations as Dangote, we actually add value. We take local raw materials and turn them into products and we sell. So which means it's a circular economy which we are practicing. Everything, is here. Everything is in Nigeria. The farmers, the banks, or maybe the people in the mines, the banks, everything is about local. And it is the main reason why we were number 2 in flour milling, but we sold it because the wheat is being imported from abroad. So the more wheat we use, the more jobs we create out there. And that's why we cancel that. We remain only in sugar. Salt is not really a very big business. So that's what we have done. And now, what are we doing? What we are doing, like what our group vice president, Mr. Alake, mentioned, is that we said that, yes, we are always the first mover. We always move first, then other people will follow. And we have never, ever, whether consciously or unconsciously, stopped anybody from doing the same business that we are doing. To the contrary, when you look at it, when we first came into cement production, it was actually only Lafarge that was operating here in Nigeria, which is Iwakoro, and then the one in Ashaka, in Gombe. Nobody ever called Lafarge, monopoly. But we, Dangote, the first plant we set up was 5 million tons. That was the first one, against less than 2 million of local production. But when we got in there, people now start saying, monopoly. And this is really very disheartening when people keep talking about all this monopoly. Monopoly, it is only when you stop people, you block them through legal means or whatever. No.
Well, there you have it. Alhaji Aliko Dangote there, speaking more often than usual to the press. This matter must be really hitting up the bottoms of a lot of people, I guess. Well, let's move away from the Dangote story because I want you guys to tinker on what he said and what Farouk has said about this issue of monopoly and, of course, the petroleum products. Think about it. Let's not be emotional about this. We need to be as smart as possible. Wear your smart pants today. And let's think. Read between the lines. While we're talking about what's happening in Nigeria, there are other stories, yes, of course, that we're looking at here. This one's from Premium Times. Let's see. All right, so this one is the Enugu State Governor is calling for Simon Ekpa's repatriation over the killings in the southeast. Don't forget that Simon Ekpa has been one of those who's been parading himself as the leader of IPOB and calling for, he's one of those rogue guys that has been calling for killings and been leading. I remember there was a time that they were trying to get him. I don't know where he is anyway. Well, Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has accused the controversial Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa of murdering and terrorizing residents of the southeast. In fact, Governor Mbah spoke on Saturday when he received members of the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence in Enugu. The lawmakers visited the governor after inspecting the construction of the Training Institute of the State Security Service, that's the DSS, in the state. Now, Ekpa, who's a Finland-based Nigerian, is a leader of the Autopilot, a faction of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Now, he's been linked to some deadly attacks and enforcement of the illegal sit-at-home orders in that region. And many people have said that he's feeding fat on the suffering of Igbo people. And so the governor is saying, repatriate him. He asked lawmakers to consider repatriating Mr. Ekpa to Nigeria for prosecution. And it's a very interesting question. I mean, is it time for this guy to pay for his sins? Because, I mean, if they were able to get Nnamdi Kanu, what's stopping them from getting Simon? Do they need a governor to speak up? The phone lines are open 0201-277-0993 for males, females 0201 465 7190. That's 0201 465 7190 for the ladies. And the other big story across the continent is that Joe Biden has stepped down and now he has endorsed his vice president, Kamala Harris. Now the bigger question is, how ready is the United States for a female president? Will it ever happen? Or has Trump taken the win already? And my final story, Lagos. It's the big weekend, so one more story. Philip Shuaibu, on the one hand, came up back to Edo State. He said, look, I'm coming back to take my seat as deputy governor. And in less than 24 hours, he's swinging the broom in the air and he's now an APC member. Does this go to buttress the fact that the PDP had been making that he was an APC mole? Did the PDP push him to take that position? Let's talk. Hello and welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon.
Turn off your radio. You should know this by now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Noye from Egweda.
Hi, Noye.
That's my idea. Is this Simon Ekpa that caused the killings in Nnamdi Kanu's house, where scores of our young men in the East were murdered in cold blood? Is it that man that is there now, causing the killing of youth in Imo State, that 3 mortuaries got filled up? Is this Simon Ekpa? We have now seen why Nnamdi Kanu has not been released. That man who is saying this is one of the people behind Nnamdi Kanu's being held in the DSS custody. Thank you.
Okay. No, this is really interesting. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Happiness from Ikorodu.
All right, Happiness. Go ahead.
How was your weekend?
Great. I can't complain.
Maryann, Dangote story. Honestly, I don't know. I'm confused though between these two fights. I'm really confused. Is it that they don't want him in the market? They want him out? Many companies are folded up. I think this the man is still the one standing. I don't know. Okay, if he leaves now, what happens? What happens? We are the one that will suffer it. These people, what do they want from us now? What do they want from this country? They should let us be. They should fight hunger. They should let us be. Maryann, this thing is not nice, though. It's not nice at all.
Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Pastor Ladipo is calling us from Murile. Hello, Pastor Ladipo.
Maryann.
Good afternoon. Yes.
This is Pastor Ladipo.
I know.
Murile Sarigom.
Yes, go ahead, Pastor Ladipo.
My take this afternoon is on Joe Biden as an example to either African leaders, especially to Nigeria. You see, power, when people are too desperate, if Joe Biden has been in Nigeria, his community people, his ethnic people, his religious people, they would have tell you that the man can rule from sick bed. Now, imagine Shuaibu. Just because you want to... I want to tell you something, Maryann, this afternoon, that the lifestyle of an average Nigerian politician cannot allow them to live and survive outside politics. That is why they are like...
So Pastor Ladipo, you're saying that what's happening now, it's purely politics. I mean, the Dangote situation.
I'm telling you. You see, what is happening to Dangote now is what is happening to an average Nigerian who is trying to... Okay, Those who we are expecting to bring their foreign money to come and invest, what message are we passing across? Can you imagine? You cannot see the reason why the oil sector has not been working all along. And now we have the president who is now the petroleum minister. What is he saying about it? What is he saying?
All right. All right.
It's the situation we find ourselves.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ladipo, for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Maduka from First Bank.
Sorry, what's your name?
Maduka.
Maduka, go ahead, please.
Yeah, what's happening to Dangote is a very dangerous trend. Unfortunately, the Nigerians, the divide and rule strategy that has always worked in the past. Somebody is making a point, passing a message, government to instigate certain things through the media and influencers, and they throw up another narrative to counter it. Nigerians are now saying Dangote gained the back. It doesn't matter. What is presenting is a typical problem of a typical Nigerian local investor. Many people were given there's a the refinery, but there's a name, modular
refineries, yes.
And they haven't started, because some of them were saying you can borrow money, set it up, and you won't get crude oil. Do you understand? The issue of competition, there is something they call antitrust law.
If I'm not mistaken, the former vice president had made a promise about converting these modular refineries to government refineries, so that we can have more hands and more petroleum products being refined within the country. But then, of course, that's now gone with the government.
Yeah. So what I expected, the Nasima Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, the business section of MBA, and some other people, this is time to put up a pressure for the National Assembly to set up an antitrust law that will control competition and throw up transparency in the way licenses are given and businesses are conducted. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Interesting point. I mean, we should be looking at other options, but oh no, we're all just locked in this battle. Robert is calling us. Hello, Robert. Where are you calling us from?
Papa, good afternoon, Maryann.
How are you doing?
I'm there. I'm fine. Maryann.
Yes.
Dangote issue have shown me. I don't know if any other Nigerian knows about it too. That there is big, fraud in this importation of fuel into this country. There's something that these people are not telling us. We are only concerned about where has come, the dollar rate has gone. I know. If you look at it critically, Dangote, they say is a monopolistic person. I don't know, maybe if Dangote stop any other person not to establish your own refinery in Nigeria here. I don't know. Then again, when you look at it, the money that we are supposed to use to import fuel, why can't we take it to Dangote place and we only charge us and it will be cheaper instead of paying huge dollar that we will bear the brunt with the citizen? So the cabals that are operating this NNPC is what this federal government is here to tell Nigerians. And this thing will continue. So those days they used to tell us that some people have refineries in Venezuela, in South Africa. I can mention names, so I don't want to mention their names. We have a long way to go, my man.
Thank you very much for calling, Robert. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello.
Hi.
My beautiful sister.
How you day?
God bless you.
God bless you.
How was your weekend?
It was great. I can't complain.
No complain. The all day. About Dangote. This man, I don't like this story where they cook, they give us, so make we see.
Why do you think it's been cooked? Why are you suspicious that the story is not what it is?
These people there for one boat, Maryann.
How do you mean?
Why not talk about the snake where they take cheat off for Nigeria, where they carry go outside neighboring country, they say cheap? Why not talk about that one? I still not be enjoying that one from Nigeria since. And this will matter. This our government, all of them, they just gather together to suffer us. He's just bringing out those stories. Maryann, it is well.
All right, thank you very much for calling. I want to stop and take some messages on social media. Don't forget, you can join the conversation on Skype. If you're listening to us from outside of the country, you want to chime in. Maybe if you're looking from the outside in, you probably might see what we're not seeing here in Nigeria, because You know, I'm looking at this story and I sat the whole day watching that, the commissioning of Dangote refinery. I do remember what Mr. Kyari said in the presence of Mr. President and some people when that refinery was being commissioned. I shall look for a little bit of that clip. I'm still looking for it. If I do find it, I'll play it. And then what changed between then and now? How can you have allowed that refinery to be up and running and you didn't license it? And then you're telling us in 2024 that it's not being licensed properly. He said it. I'll play it again in case you missed that. And then in another breath, this man is a monopolist. He's trying to monopolize the market. Okay. Well, bring competition. Let there be competition if you think he's trying to monopolize the market. What's happening to Port Harcourt refinery? What's happening to the other refineries that you promised us would come upstream in December? Something's not adding up, is it? All right, let me quickly take this call from Esosa and then go to social media. Hello, Esosa. Where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling you on the road.
Hi, on the road. Go ahead then.
Yes. I want to speak about the Edo crisis. I want to speak about the Edo crisis.
Oh, please, by all means.
The deputy governor was reinstated by the Appeal Court. And the next day, you are jumping to another party. That shows there's no loyalty. So he was only fighting for his own personal agenda. So I don't think.
And what could have been that personal agenda?
Because he wanted to be governor by all means, and there is a zoning pattern already.
Yeah, but there's but no political party has picked him. So I mean, I'm trying to understand because I watched him on I think channels on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, and they kept asking him, which government house are you going to take over? And who are you going to be working with if there's no love lost between you and the governor? He couldn't answer the question.
This is like the PDP and APC. They agreed for zoning. That after it was first a Benin man that was governor, then an Afama man. Now he's going to the Isha land. So why don't you just follow the pattern? I think he's a spy. That's my belief. He's a spy.
Okay,
if there's zoning and you don't follow that zoning, there is a problem.
Okay. All right, Esosa, thank you very much for calling. I'm going to take messages on social media for now. Well, the bigger question for today is it time for Simon Ekpa to pay for his sins, according to the Enugu State Governor? And then how do you feel about Biden's withdrawal from the race? Does this mean that the Republicans are going to have an upper hand? Or is Kamala going to turn the tides? But then, of course, on the other hand, we've had Hillary Clinton, who's been a Secretary of State and a wife of a former, president, try again, and the Electoral College gave it to Trump. Is America ripe for a woman president, or are the Democrats just grasping at anything just to hold on to this election? It's a big conversation. I might have it on Thursday this week, but then today I want to hear your thoughts on it. And what exactly is playing out between Dangote and the NNPCL? And what is Philip Shuaibu's aim? All right, let me read some messages coming in here on WhatsApp. This one says, let's be real. Kindly, okay. It says, the same people who crippled all refineries in Nigeria are the ones making profit from the importation of petroleum products. And the same people peddling the lies that even if we have refineries in Nigeria, the cost of fuel still will not be cheap. They're the same people trying to sabotage Dangote's refinery. These people are the ones controlling the NNPCL. Nigerians are the ones to fight for themselves and break out of the shackles of the NNPC and make government make our local refineries functional and cause the cost of fuel to crash. This one says, good afternoon, Maryann. The ongoing backlash on the alleged substandard products from the long-awaited Dangote refinery is good for the people of Nigeria, as it has brought to light the activities of mafias in the oil sector. We expect more revelations, and President Tinubu should begin to sharpen his sack axe. The big issue is, if Dangote is on the side of Nigerians, he should tell us how much he will sell fuel, that's PMS and diesel, if he can get crude from NNPC, so we know if he's to take over the battle from him and add to the list of upcoming massive protests to demand crude be given to him. Tony, okay, thank you for your message. This one here says the Nigerian government cannot succeed in repatriating Simon Ekpa, I'm sure that's what you wanted to say, because Finnish government isn't Nigerian government. This young man has been in Finland since 2007. He has lived there. So what? So what? If there's proof that you are sitting in a country and calling for mayhem in another country, that's terrorism. There can be grounds for him to be repatriated if they have. So, I mean, when you just sit there and say they can never, Finnish government is not, yeah. But if I were to sit in Lagos and try to cause problems for the Finnish government in their country, do you not think that they'd also think of the same thing, of trying to see if they could repatriate me to come and answer for all the things that I've done? I'm just saying. We'll probably have to look at what the law says and, the foreign policies of these countries. But you can't just sit there and say, it's not going to happen. No, sir. This one says, Supreme Court, I wish US was Nigeria. The public political debate would have forced the likes of Buhari to step out of the race, and Nigeria would have been a better place by now. If anyone anywhere in the world wants to see insincerity and confusion in governance, they should please come to Nigeria. The very government and party that sang to high heavens about Dangote refinery and brought the whole world to Nigeria to commission it are the same people shamelessly talking today with twisted tongues. How much can one be ashamed of coming from this country? Chai! Nigerians, my pity is for you beyond description. Steve in Ijaniki. Well, here now. This one, Toby from Ikoson says, Enugu State Governor should concentrate on securing the lives and properties of her citizens. Let Interpol do the needful if they have enough evidence. Trump is most likely to win the next election with the withdrawal of Biden. Virtually all politicians are political harlots, he says. He says, at Shuaibu, I'm not even surprised. Okay, Toby. Ekene Festus here says, for Biden to step down for his deputy is a big advantage to Trump's victory. Ekene from Nsuka. Thank you very much. This one says, what Dangote is going through is Nigeria's factor that has been destroying every SME. Biden has shown that you need not die in power to be recognized as a leader. I support Simon Ekpa to be repatriated to face his actions. This is from Ayo. Thank you very much, Ayo, for your message. This one says, I think the so-called oil cabal and powerful people against Nigerian oil sector are some people in this government that sponsored the protest against subsidy removal in 2011, I beg your pardon. When they were outside, the cabal then was collecting subsidy payments from the government. And now that some of them are in power, they tell us that subsidy is gone and Nigerians are now paying the subsidy to them now. If the government in power doesn't know about the oil cabal, they should give the crude oil to Dangote refinery and allow the refineries to work and stop this cheap blackmail against Dangote. Deceit and manipulation against Nigerians. This is Victor from Ilupeju. I'm trying to look for that video of Mr. Kyari at that opening or commissioning of Dangote refinery. And let's not just judge this case from here and now. Let's not. And let's remember all of the lofty promises that the NNPCL made to us. The fact that they've told us stories upon stories about our refineries coming upstream until today. Nothing is happening. There's so many illegal refining all over the place, especially in River State. They call it fire. And do you know what they do to keep the villagers quiet? They share kerosene in large quantities to the villagers so they have something to cook with. And so when you ask them, they look the other way. So if we could bring all of those illegal refining and make them legal, would we have fuel scarcity? Would the fuel price be what it is? Or are they not willing and ready to tell us the truth? I'm asking again, what do you think is at play here? Think. Don't be too emotional about it. I want to go to Facebook Live quickly, then I'll come to Skype to take your thoughts and your comments on some of these issues, okay? If you are on Facebook Live, please post your comment. I'd like to hear from you if you are on Facebook Live, okay? And then, of course, you can send me a tweet. I'm going to come to Twitter also to read your messages on Twitter. Everybody has to be carried along. I've got 14 minutes on the clock. Sunday James here on Facebook Live says, good afternoon, guys. I'm totally tired of Nigerian government. Look at the way people are suffering in the country. Hungry people everywhere. Hakim Alausa says, we can't compare America's democracy with ours because they have perfect institutions that even if the dullards there, it will perform creditably well. But if we want to excel as a nation, our institutions should be strengthened rather than building an individual. Thank you, Hakim Alausa. Vincent here says, Philip Shuaibu is too ambitious. It's not their turn to produce a governor because it's the turn of Edo Central. Simon Ekpa is long overdue to be in jail. Nice decision from Biden considering his age and health. The cabal in the NNPC don't want Nigerians to breathe. They're aware if Dangote refinery starts working, importation will stop and price of fuel will definitely fall. Vincent from Ikorodu, thank you very much for your message. Keep them coming. I'm going to go to Twitter. Or if you are calling on Skype, this is the best time for you to call me. I can take your thoughts. I can take your comments. I'm on Twitter. That's X. Olushogajai here says, truth is, no matter what the truth is, the rougher fight is not about the interests of Nigerians. It's about the interests of both Dangote and a few who feel the functional Dangote refinery will cut off some conduit pipes through which oil scam flows. All right. Well, we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your comments on this particular issue. Go and post your comments on X. Use the hashtag HardFact. If you want to be part of the conversation on WhatsApp, it's 08095975805. Join the conversation. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. You could also join us on Facebook Live, Nigeria Info 99.3. Blexman here on Twitter says, Nigerian government has never been sincere in anything at all. That is a problem, isn't it? Joy Forever here says, America has systems and institutions that can make a Dundee king. Biden is worthy of peace award. Dangote and NNPC, same of the same. I've got 12 minutes on the clock. I'm going to come back to the phone lines 0201-277-0993 if you are a man. That's 0201-277-0993 if you're a lady. 0201-465-7190. That's 0201-465-7190. Hello, welcome to Hard Fact.
Hi, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Rapuchku is my name.
All right, Rapuchku, go ahead, please.
Okay. Well, I want to talk on Dangote refinery.
Go ahead.
Well, it's a good thing. He brought such refinery investment in the country. I'm not disputing the facts. But we can't depend only on one refinery. Governments have their own refinery working. We have 3 or 4 refineries working in this country. It will be a good thing. Please, there will be competition. Nobody will have to monopolize it. Because what we have to see when they monopolize it, it will not be good for all of us. And at the same time, if you examine yourself, anyone that examines himself will like to be forced. The fact is that the truth must be told. It's only time will tell, We know what happened in the past when during Obasanjo regime, the cup you used to measure for others will be used on you. The only time will tell. When cement industries, well, we know what happened. Everyone knows the story by then. When Obasanjo was in power, this Dangote group have it all. And what did he say by then? He didn't say anything because he monopolized it. They knocked Ibeto group out of the system.
Okay.
So what is happening now? Why is he complaining? Source your resources.
All right. We need to take other calls.
Or internationally.
Okay.
So nobody wants to know. Don't disturb people, please.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. I did say I was going to fish out that video of Mele Kyari at the commissioning of Dangote refinery. Let's take a listen quickly to Mele Kyari on that day.
Petroleum products in both local and regional markets, as against simply exporting unprocessed crude to diminishing markets overseas. The external shocks in recent years from COVID-19 and the conflict in Europe are tangible reminders that energy is not just a business, but a vital component of national security. Reliable access to fairly priced energy is the key to domestic economic growth, job creation, sustained democracy, and a stable international order. As the world transits to cleaner sources of energy on account of climate change concerns, many developing countries across Africa and Asia are left to contend with energy poverty while managing the impact of climate change. Nigeria, Africa as a whole, produces a small amount of carbon emissions, but we profoundly suffer the consequences of the gathering climate emergency, flooding and drought, sometimes simultaneously, tensions over land use, and the list is very long. And that's why the Dangote refinery, with the new deal that we have been building, supported by the Enabling Petroleum Act, will surely provide domestic security of supply in our country. There's no doubt about it. However, the lingering challenge of petroleum motor spirit subsidies is clearly getting out of the capacity of the state to bear, and the differentials that domestic refining will provide is insignificant and cannot compensate for the subsidies. And may I use this opportunity to say that it's very, very difficult to continue to bear subsidy bills in the excess of 400 billion naira every month. We are harnessing our resources to meet our own needs. The NNPCL Limited equity holding in the gigantic asset is strategic as the supplier of last resort to the Nigerian market. We will continue to work with investors to develop hydrocarbon assets using the most modern and innovative technologies to realize the potentials of our resources and power the transition towards clean energy in the decades ahead. The scale of the ambition of the Dangote refinery is plain to see. The vision behind it and the optimism it generates for a better future is even more exciting. We should all be proud to be part of this historic occasion, especially you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Well, that's Kayari. That's what he said. They were very excited. All of a sudden, he's producing below par. Oh, we didn't even license him. What are we playing at? What exactly is at play here? I've got 6 minutes on the clock. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello, sorry about that. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
You're calling the ladies' line.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, call me back. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, you have Emmanuel on the line, and I'm calling you from Ekpa.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
As for the issue of Dangote refinery, our politicians are playing games with us. As you said, some of them, the officials of NNPC, attended the commissioning. Now you say it's 45% completion. Then it won't be up to 45% completion if you are saying that, which means it will most likely be 35% completion. Why did you commission what is complete? You see, these people,
And that's why I'm asking the question that are we querying the right persons here? Are we directing our questions and concerns to the right parties, or are we just playing to the gallery?
The matter is that government institutions take the people for a ride. Somebody said something about conspiracy in Joyce's show, and I want to add to it. They have conspired against you. Against your electricity. Today, some of you won't feel fine if you do not listen to a voice of generator. They have conspired against your road. They built some standard road in 2 years or 3 years, water wash it away, and then you drive on potholes, and then you are used with it. They have conspired against your crude oil. They loan it out. Today, even if the Port Harcourt refinery seems to be working, perhaps they will go and import crude from Venezuela, because our crude oil has been loaned
In
out.
10 seconds, I have to take another call quickly.
Maryann, we need to wake up in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. I've got so many messages and I wanted to see if I can try and read through all of them. Kelvin is calling us via Skype. Hello, Kelvin. Kelvin, we have 60 seconds. You need to turn off your live stream so I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Maryann. I just want to say it's so obvious that you see our own refinery. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it's so obvious our own refineries have not been working. The modular refineries and the likes. And when you now see what's going on with Dangote, you are wondering. I'm asking, is there like a system that doesn't want these refineries to work? Are there people that are benefiting from these refineries in Nigeria not working? Because the history of our petroleum is ship abroad, bring back in, sell in dollars and all of that. So what I feel is that there's a system that doesn't want this to work. That's just the way I see it.
Okay.
Because why would we have something on ground now, Dangote's refinery, and we're having this? Look at what you played. What's changed with Abakari? What exactly changed? It's just unfortunate, Maryann. It's unfortunate. Let me just stop here.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for calling. I do appreciate it. It calls because you see, if people have a propagandist or a propaganda to push, they feed you all kinds of information so that it distracts you from the obvious. It takes a smart-minded person and someone who can quiet the noise to look at the issues that has been laid before you from all angles. And then sometimes a smarter person to go back in time to dig up all of the things that have been said and all the things that transpired, and then put them all together and then start to find out exactly why this is happening or what's amiss. Then that way, you take out all the emotion and begin to strategically look at all of these issues. I think it's about time that we start looking at issues from a strategic standpoint than just being emotional about it, because they trust that you're going to be emotional and go with the bandwagon half the time. And many times we fall prey. Actually, many times. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You have 60 seconds.
Hello, Maryann.
Yes, go ahead. You have 60 seconds, Chinenwa. Go ahead.
Yeah, the issue of this, our refinery not working. Based on the analysis I heard, it's not started today. It started around 1951. Even when my mother was still a virgin, that's when the problem started. Okay, now, we are still having the problem. And they are telling me that if to allow it to work, they know what they are doing, because if it works, it will not benefit most of them. Most of them have a refinery in outside country that is benefiting them. You understand? So that's number one. The other one is about the governor of Enugu State saying that Simon Ekpa is the problem of the Southeast. Okay, what of the one that is happening here? What have you said about that? You want to tell us that Simon Ekpa is the problem of the Southeast? Please.
Thank you very much, Chinenwa, for calling. Just so you guys know, and I'm not holding brief for the Enugu State governor, but have you noticed that Enugu is the only Southeast state that barely records that whole problem that every other Southeastern state has? Now, are we going to kill the messenger and not listen to the message? Again, like I always say, let not your emotions run, whatever it is that your direction will be when you are looking at a story. Look at it wholesomely from every angle. Then you can deduce the right things from those stories. But when you are saying you're going with the bandwagon, you miss it. And these people are really, really banking on the fact that you will miss the point, and so that the propaganda can continue. But the Southeast and the IPOB and the sit at home is a whole kettle of fish that needs to be discussed on a totally different day. Someone here says that I need to educate my listeners. How much crude do we produce daily? How much has been forward sold? And what is left for the country to use? Mathematics, I guess. This one says, on this Dangote issue, and you do have a point. Maybe we need to look at all of that. Like I said, we can't just look at it from one perspective. We have to look at it from a larger perspective, all round. And then you can now make a decisive, choice or take a position. Finally, this one says, on this Dangote issue of if importers are saying that Dangote fuel is not good and Dangote said his fuel is the best, he should crash the price so that the importer will not import fuel into the country. Instead, of them playing on our intelligence. They're scamming us. Adesami from Apapa. This is a conversation that's ongoing. And I'm sure that more and more people will keep discussing this story, this Dangote story. And we need to keep asking salient questions so that we can make salient points. And then we can understand what's at play. Then we can know what position to take. In the meantime, let's take a break.
Talk. And even more talk.
My word is
crisis averted in aviation sector.
The conversation, your views and suggestions.
We talk on Nigeria Info.
The news is at the top of the hour. Yvonne Haifo is going to be here in a minute to bring you the news. On the other side, it'll be Checkpoint. Stay with us. This is Hard Facts.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.